Welcome everyone to another lap time challenge on Gran Turismo 7, where this time we are racing on Circuit de la Sarthe, that might be better known to you as Le Mans from the famous 24-hour race. We are racing in the Bugatti Veyron Gr. car, and I'd say let's jump right in. At the time of recording this video you needed a 421.5 to get the gold. First I thought this would be rather easy, but indeed it took me quite some laps to get used to the car and the track. So I'd also tell you, take your time to get used to everything and then go for the time attack. For the first corner, position your car to the left, cut the curb, and at the first total sign on the right, go hard into the brakes, early on the throttle, and you will notice that out of corners this car has lots of grip, so make sure you go early on the throttle and also try to use early upshifts because this car has lots of torque and there's no need to rev out each gear. Brake early for this left-hander down to 4th gear, let the car roll through the corner and early back on the throttle. Position the car to the left up to 5th gear, slight braking action down to 4th for some rotation, early on the throttle again to maximize the momentum out of the corner for the long straight. Going down the straight, I'd like to mention, if you enjoy the video I'd be happy if you leave a like and also feel free to subscribe to the channel. For the next corner, position the car to the left again, brake around the 120 meter mark, down to 3rd gear, cut a lot of this curb on the right to position your car in a good way for the left hand corner and early back on the throttle again to carry a good amount of speed to the next straight. As an indicator, if your sector time here is around 121, you're in a good way. If it's higher than 123 or 124, you should maybe restart your lap from this point. For the next left-hander, position your car to the right again, around the 120 meters mark, brake down to 3rd gear, turn in and for this corner down to 2nd gear for some more rotation and early back on the throttle for the long straight again. Accelerate all the way through down this straight until you get to 7th gear and don't forget to short shift the car in order to also save some time. Your next brake marker then will be slightly before the bend in the curb on the right, so make sure you brake in a straight line, go down to 1st gear, early up to 2nd gear again and early back on the throttle. You will notice the car has lots of grip, so make sure to hit that accelerator pedal in time. For this next section, try to take the shortest line through the double right-hander. So cut the curb slightly on the right and position your car to the right all the way down to the next curb, which, oh my god, takes quite a long time to reach. So here it is, cut it again, and then position your car to the left for the next right-hand corner. Brake slightly in a straight line, go down to 6th gear, carry a good amount of speed through this corner and immediately up to the brakes, down to 2nd gear for this left-hander and early back on the throttle. For the next right-hander, don't brake too late because you will end up in understeering and going to the gravel. So brake early, down to 2nd gear and early back on the throttle again for maximum acceleration out of the corner. So the last part of the track will be the handling section, which is quite important to get right because otherwise you will lose a lot of time here. So accelerate all the way through, go up to 6th gear and position the car to the left for the first right-hand corner. What I did was brake early and go down to 5th gear, let the car roll a lot into the corner so it doesn't slide too much and early back on the throttle. Now keep acceleration through this left-hander, position the car to the right and just lift a little for this left-hander before braking and going down to 4th gear for some more rotation. Early back on the throttle again, rev out the gear, some brake action here for rotation to the left and early back on the throttle again. Early upshift to 5th gear, up to 6th gear in the end and position the car to the right for the last chicane. Slightly before the curb that enters to the pit lane, brake hard, go down to 3rd gear, take a lot of this curb on the left and right, while braking helps with rotation. Hard on the brake, down to 2nd gear, cut a lot of these 2 curbs and early back on the throttle to the finish. And this got me a time of 4:19.242, which should be easily getting gold at the end of the challenge. So let's review the lap once more for those of you driving in chase cam. Position the car to the left for the first right-hander, cut a lot of the curb and at the first of the red total signs, brake in a straight line, go to 2nd gear, cut a lot of the curbs on the left and right and early back on the throttle. Go for early upshifts through this session here, position the car to the right in the end, brake in a straight line shortly, down to 4th gear, let the car roll through the left-hander and back on the throttle early for the maximum acceleration. Position the car to the left for the next right-hander, Go up to 5th gear, slide braking down to 4th for more rotation, and early on the throttle for the long straight. And again, if you enjoy the video, I would be really happy if you leave a like or even subscribe to the channel. For the upcoming chicane, position the car to the left again, make sure to brake in a straight line around the 120 meter mark, down to 3rd gear, cut the curb on the right to position the car for the left hand corner, down to 2nd gear for more rotation, and early back on the throttle with early upshifts for the next straight. Same technique should be used for the next chicane, position the car to the right, brake around the 120 meter mark in a straight line, go down to 3rd gear, and cut the curb to the left to position the car in a good way for the right hand corner. Approaching the right hand corner, slide braking down to 2nd gear for more rotation, and early back on the accelerator pedal for the next straight. At the end of the straight, the brake marker for the right hand corner will be the slight bend for the curb on the right. So make sure you brake in a straight line and go down to the 1st gear, early upshift to 2nd again, and early on the accelerator pedal for maximum acceleration out of the corner. The next double right-hander is kind of a long straight again. Make sure to take the shortest line, so go to the right of the track, cut the curb that approaches now on the right, position your car to the right lane, go all the way down to the next curb and cut this one again, before you position the car now to the left for the next right hand corner. 7th gear, you brake slightly down to 6th gear, then go over the curb on the right, and as soon as you're in a straight line, brake down to 2nd gear for the left hand corner, early back on the accelerator pedal and 3rd gear. And for this one, don't brake too late because you end up in understeer and into the gravel. So brake early, down to 2nd gear, early on the accelerator pedal again for the straight. Now approaching the handling section of the track, which is quite important because you might lose a lot of time if you don't get it right. You may stay in 6th gear, you might also upshift to 7th, but I don't think it's necessary. So take 6th gear down this straight, position the car to the left, brake early and shift down to 5th gear, let the car roll into this corner so you don't have too much understeer, early back on the throttle, keep the acceleration through this left-hander, position the car to the right, slight lift of the accelerator pedal through this left-hander, whilst braking for this right-hander down to 4th gear, early back on the accelerator pedal, rev out the gear, slight braking for this left-hander for rotation, and early back on the accelerator pedal. Shift up to 5th gear and 6th gear at the max for this short straight, and shortly before the curb that approaches on the right for the pit lane, brake in a straight line down to 3rd gear, cut the curbs left and right while some braking helps for rotation, brake again down to 2nd gear for this one, cut both curbs and early back on the accelerator pedal. And I hope with this guide it is also possible for you to get a decent time to reach the goal at the end of this challenge. So that's it again guys, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel for future videos to come. And then I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.